problems. The thing about diet sodas is you got so many different sweeteners now, alternatives that that have not been fully studied. Remember the congressional review on NutraSweet once it was being carried to the Congress for approval, and it proved that it was the scientists were very strongly against it, and politics overruled science, and it got passed. One study showed that people who drank artificially sweet soda were more likely to experience weight gain than those who drank non-diet soda. Others found that those that drank diet soda had twice the risk of developing metabolic syndrome, often a precursor to cardiovascular disease, than those that abstained. Surprisingly, some of the studies suggested that diet soda may be just as bad for our health as non-diet. Are diet sodas worse for you than regular sodas? I think that's the wrong question, says Swithers, who is a member of Purdue's Ingestive Behavior Research Center. It's what good are sodas for you in the first place? The study included drinks containing aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin. About 30% of American adults regularly consume these sweeteners. While research indicates that diet soda may not be the health food that has been around for a few years, in the past 25 years, Americans' consumption of these drinks has skyrocketed among a proliferation of options and concerns over obesity. Such thinking has driven many schools and hospitals to stop offering sugary sodas in their cafeterias and vending machines in an effort to improve the health of their patrons. The research, such as done by Swithers, suggests that the tactic could backfire and there could be serious long-term health consequences to consumption of diet sodas. Moving on to the next news item is good news coming out of the world of cancer research. A new wonder drug matches and kills all kinds of cancer. Human testing on antibody that frees up immune systems to attack the tumor starts in 2014. Stanford researchers are on track to begin human trials of a potential potent new weapon against cancer, and would-be participants are flooding in following the post-initial report on the discovery. The progress comes just 2 months after the groundbreaking study by Dr. Irv Weissman, who developed an antibody that breaks down the cancer's defense mechanisms in the body. A protein called CD47 tells the body not to eat the cancer, but the antibody developed by Dr. Weissman blocks CD47 and frees up immune systems called macrophages, which can then engulf the deadly cells. The new research shows the miraculous macrophages effectively act as intelligence gatherers for the body, pointing out cancer cells to cancer-fighting killer T cells. So that's good news from the world of cancer, coming from the Middle East. Everyone knows who Hezbollah is, and they are an enemy of Israel. They're seeking to destroy Israel. Well, they have a new enemy to fear, and it's called Al-Qaeda. The support of the Assad regime is drawing attacks on Lebanon and from Syrian rebels. Fearing suicide attacks against Shiite targets in Lebanon, Hezbollah is adopting special security measures, including, according to Lebanese media reports, the Shiite organization has set up both fixed and mobile checkpoints in the heart of Baalbek, a Lebanese city known as a Shiite stronghold. The unusual methods stem from concern that the possibility of bombings may be present, similar to Tuesday's incident in the Bir El Abed neighborhood in Beirut's Daya quarter, during which 53 people were injured when a car bomb exploded. According to the reports, the checkpoints were established near the city's well-known Shiite study hall and Husainiya, named after Imam Hussein. Similar procedures were implemented near a mosque. Next news story is Iran carnage has totaled 96 killed and 191 wounded. At least 96 people were killed and 191 were wounded in what appeared to be a series of coordinated attacks across the country. And the deadliest attack, a group of security personnel were sitting down with to their iftar meal when gunmen attacked them. 14 security personnel were killed as they gathered to break Ramadan fasting for the day on a highway near Borana, and some belonged to the Oil Protection Services. In Musdadiyah, a suicide bomber attacked a funeral which killed 12 people and wounded 30 others. A separate IED blast wounded 3 policemen. 7 security personnel were killed and 14 more wounded when the gunmen attacked a Ramadi checkpoint. 2 IEDs wounded 3 police, and 3 suicide bombers attacked a police station where they killed 2 policemen and wounded 4 others. Bombs in Yathrib killed 10 people and wounded 18 more near a coffee shop. In Tuz Kormoto, 10 people were killed and 20 more wounded in a car bombing. And in Baghdad, a car bomb near the Dora district left 1 policeman dead and 9 others wounded. A man was gunned down in Shakwat. 2 policemen were killed and 2 more were wounded in a bombing in Karata. In Fallujah, a car bomb killed 4 policemen and wounded several others, including a civilian, and at least 2 more people were killed and 7 more were wounded in this or another event. The number of casualties in a clash between the police and gunmen were not released, but at least 40 gunmen were reported to be involved. The police shut down the city's entrances. You may think that Iraq is under control, but obviously it's not. We have withdrawn, or we're withdrawing now, and we're still seeing casualties on the American side as we withdraw. And it looks like it's going to be free for all with a civil war or something that's going to occur in Iraq that's finally going to decide what their future is. So, the efforts that the United States made in Iraq are probably going to be nil at best. So, moving on, we've got another news item where it says local law enforcement are borrowing federal drones for surveillance. Daily flight logs from Customs and Border Patrol protection obtained by the Electronic Frontier Foundation revealed that federal departments have been busy loaning Predator drones to state, local, and non-CBP federal agencies. According to the EFF's summary of the documents, the number of CBP drone flights flown by other organizations have increased 8-fold between 2010 and 2012. EFF further reports that CBP has failed to explain how it is protecting our privacy from unwarranted drone surveillance. CBP calls its report on its Predator surveillance program the concept of operations. EFF received this report as well as 3 years of flight logs as a result of the Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. And moving to our next statement. The wheels are coming off the whole of Southern Europe. The EU is falling apart. It's near collapse. The long-awaited recovery has failed to take place. Debt ratios across Southern Europe are at an accelerating pace, and political consent for extreme austerity is breaking down in almost every state of the EU. And now the U.S. Federal Reserve has inflicted a full-blown credit shock for good measure. None of Euroland's key actors seem willing to admit that the current strategy is not workable, and that they hope to paper over the cracks until the German elections in September, as if that's going to make any difference. So anyway, Greece missed its austerity targets by a wide margin, and also Italy's crisis is flaring up again. So anyway, Standards & Poor's says it's downgraded the countries to near junk, and And if you read between the lines, it's close to saying the game is up for Italy. One more story coming out of the Middle East. Thousands of protesters are gathering in Cairo, and they're pro-Morsi rally. And these are the Muslim Brotherhood people. So now they're showing their demonstration and support for their ousted president. And they're chanting anti-military slogans, calling for the country's army chief, um, calling him a traitor for removing Morsi from office last week. And thousands of people were bussed in from the outside the capital for the sit-in at Rabba El Awaya Mosque on Friday. Earlier in the day, the pro-Morsi camp announced a march to the presidential palace, but their path was blocked by the military, so the march was diverted to Rabba. Smaller rallies were also expected to take place in other governorates. Meanwhile, members of the prominent anti-Morsi groups, such as Tamarad and the National Salvation Front and the June 30 steering committee, were calling for people to gather for a mass iftar and post-evening prayers in Tahrir Square and in front of the Ittihadiyya presidential palace in Cairo. Our next news item is dealing with the spy issue. A report is coming out of the Jerusalem Post that is saying that Microsoft is closely involved with controversial NSA spying in the U.S. Microsoft has worked closely with the U.S. intelligence services to help them intercept U.S. Users' communications, including letting the National Security Agency circumvent email encryption, citing top secret documents provided by former U.S. spy contractor Edward Snowden. The UK newspaper said Microsoft worked with the FBI and the NSA to ease the access via PRISM, an intelligence gathering program uncovered by The Guardian last month, to cloud storage service SkyDrive. Microsoft also helped the PRISM collect video and audio of conversations conducted by Skype, Microsoft's online chat service, the newspaper added. Microsoft has previously said it did not provide NSA direct access to users' information. On Thursday, it repeated that it provided customer data only in response to lawful government requests. To be clear, Microsoft does not provide any government with blanket or direct access to SkyDrive, Outlook.com, Skype, or any other Microsoft product, the company said in a statement. Facebook Incorporated, Google Incorporated, and Microsoft have all publicly urged U.S. authorities to allow them to reveal the number and scope of the surveillance requests after documents leaked to the Washington Post and Guardian suggest they have been given the government direct access to their computers as part of the NSA's PRISM program. The disclosures have triggered widespread concern in congressional hearings about the scope and extent of the information gathering. Well, that almost makes the Watergate scandal look almost like a cakewalk. There you had one spying incident, but here you've got the entire country under surveillance. These stories are coming to you because we want to show you what the world is at a glance and what's going on, and we want to assure you that things are not out of control, that there is one that holds it all under control. These things have to pass before the end comes, and we are every day we're faced with decisions, and the decisions that we make affect our future, and we have to try to make our decisions based on good information, and the good information has to come from good sources. So I suggest that you check these sources and check things for yourself and find out for yourself.